Welcome back. Joining me is Chad Nicholson, Director of Instrumental Studies, and Aaron Mitchell, Director of Choral Studies at the IPFW Department of Music, and they're here to talk about their upcoming concerts. Good to have you both back on the show.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks. Both been here before.
Yes.
And Chad, what do you teach here at IPFW?
Well, at IPFW, I conduct the IPFW Symphonic Wind Ensemble and the Campus Symphonic Band. I teach instrumental conducting, instrumental methods, which is like how to be a band director 101. I teach performance classes, and I'm the instrumental area head. So I work with all the applied faculty very closely at IPFW. So we have a good coordinated approach to how we're teaching our students.
That's for all the instruments. Aaron, you're on the vocal end of things. What do you teach?
Yep, I direct the choirs. I'm the Director of Choral Studies. So we have 3 choirs that I conduct: a choral union, which is a community and student group, chamber singers, and the university singers. And then I teach conducting, technique for conducting, and then choral conducting for music education majors who are going to go out and teach choir.
Okay, so we keep you guys pretty busy. Yeah,
in a good way.
Sounds like it. Well, you know, it's that time of the semester where we just have a bunch of concerts coming up, and we want to sort of talk about a few of the symphonic wind concerts, some of the choral concerts, starting on February 29th. Chad, a Masterworks concert with the Wind Ensemble. Tell us about some of the stuff you're going to be doing on the 29th.
Well, we have a very exciting concert coming up very soon, next Wednesday at 7:30. The Wind Ensemble and Symphonic Band will both be performing. The Wind Ensemble is doing what is often thought of as the pinnacle of wind literature. It's called Lincolnshire Posy by Percy Grainger. And then we're also doing a piece by Wagner, Elsa's Procession to the Cathedral, which is very dramatic, very chromatic, and very loud at the end. And then we have a world premiere of a new work by Diane Whitaker called Rumor Mill, which is going to be a lot of fun also. So there's going to be something for everyone at this concert, especially if you like band music and you like Grainger. This would be a can't-miss concert.
It's some big-time music. And who was Percy Grainger?
Well, he was a very colorful figure, not just for band music, but in the early and mid 1900s. Grainger was from Australia, and he lived in London. He was a pianist, very famous concert pianist, a performing soloist. And then when he moved to the United States, he became a U.S. military bandsman, and he played the saxophone. And in doing this, he fell in love with the saxophone, which is, you know, depending on who you are, that's not an easy thing to do for some people, especially composers at that time. Yeah. And so he started integrating the saxophone into the wind repertoire in a very serious way. And he would look at the wind band before, you know, in the early 1900s, the band was just band. They did marches. They all played together. Here's the band. They play, they don't play. It's kind of binary. They're on, they're off. And then Grainger came along, and he saw it as an opportunity for musical democracy, where every voice had an equally important role with every other voice. So his music is complicated, and it's a thick texture, and every single person in the ensemble has to really perform. And
he really changed the face of band music, from the marching band stuff to the really sophisticated music that we hear today. And there's a lot of good new stuff out there. And speaking of that, coming up in April, on April 19th, a very interesting concert sponsored by Discount Comic Books here in town, and has an interesting story. Tell us about that concert.
You know, I was talking to this guy, and he said, you know, I've never been to one of your concerts. And I said, really? And he said, yep. He said, but I'd come if you played Star Wars. And not only would I come, I'd bring about 20 of my friends with me, and we'd be sitting on the front row. I said, really? Well, I like Star Wars.
Yeah, so
like
do
Star Wars. I mean, you have to be, it's Star Wars, right? Yeah. Except for the new ones. The old Star Wars. Jar Jar. So I said, well, okay, let me think about this. And I have not done a pure Pops concert since I've been at IPFW, so I thought, what a great opportunity. So I started talking to these people at Discount Comic Book Service here in town, Turns out they're the #1 online retailer of comic books in the country.
Wow.
Right here in Fort Wayne, and they wanted to be a part of this. And so I started thinking we could have their sponsorship. They're going to help sponsor an audience costume contest. So we're going to be doing science fiction, video game music, superhero music.
Come dressed up.
Superman, you know, Lord of the Rings, anything, all of these things that if you are interested in, you're going to enjoy hearing live performances in costume.
And that's going to be at the Reinhardt Music Center on April 19th.
In our performance hall on April 19th. Yes.
Just following that, just a few days later, but on another part of the campus, at the Walb Student Union, the new International Ballroom. If people haven't seen it, a great new ballroom we have here on campus, the U.S. Marine Band. April 24th.
Yes, and this is the West Coast detachment. The East Coast detachment is based out of Washington, D.C. This band is based out of San Diego, and they are professional musicians, world-class musicians, and they are coming up here to perform for our regional public school students, so high school and middle school band students.
So if you're a high school teacher, you want to get your students in to see the Marine Band, how do they do? Contact you?
Yes, and they should do that soon. We have about 300 seats left. Several bands have already claimed their seats. All they have to do is drop me an email, go to the IPFW homepage, Google or put in bands, and they can bring me up, send me an email, let me know how many students they want to bring.
Okay, that's great. That's going to be on April 24th, the International Ballroom here at the IPFW campus. We're talking with Chad Nicholson and Aaron Mitchell from the IPFW Department of Music about their upcoming concerts. Let's move on to Choral, Aaron. On March 7th, coming up pretty soon, very interesting concert, from Buenos Aires to Bluegrass. Here, that's actually going to be where? It's going to be at Trinity English Lutheran Church. So tell us a little bit about that concert.
Well, this concert is part of the American Choral Directors Association Central Division Convention. And this is a 4-state convention every 2 years. It's going to be held here in Fort Wayne for the first time, I think, that I know of. And the invitation for us to perform is a big honor and a big responsibility. But I'm just really thrilled that we were invited in this. When I got the call inviting us to perform in this concert with South Bend Chamber Singers, which is a really great group out of South Bend, they told me what work South Bend was performing, the Bluegrass Mass, which is a fairly new work setting the Mass text to bluegrass music. And I immediately thought of another folk mass, Misa Criolla, which is a Latin American mass that sets the Mass text to native rhythms of Argentina and the surrounding area, dance rhythms and song forms from the Andes and that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
An evening of folk masses, 2 folk masses.
Wow, you always do really cool stuff, Aaron. I mean, I know you lived down in South America for a while, and you really bring a real good international feel to this traditional music form.
Well, I really enjoy, getting out and experiencing different cultures and the music of Latin America. This is a work that I did some research on, and the chance to perform it is just a lot of fun. But also to perform it with, I'm looking forward to seeing the Bluegrass Mass.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and again, it's going to be on March 7th down at Trinity English Lutheran Church.
Yep. So if you're a fan of Mass, if you're a fan of choir, if you're a fan of Bluegrass,
hey, it's all there for you.
It's all there.
Well, a little bit later in the semester on April 22nd, we have To Touch the Heavens music of the Mass. Kind of similar, different, but tell us about that concert.
Yeah, well, this is going to be also downtown at First Wayne Street United Methodist Church. And it's going to be selections from different masses, including Mozart's Requiem. So we'll have
beautiful piece of music.
The Requiem Mass, yeah, exactly. And then there'll be from Renaissance, Bird's Mass for 4 voices with our chamber group, and then there's selections that are related, thematically. They're not all Mass selections, but we'll also have some selections from contemporary African Mass. So it'll be a variety that is united by a theme of music that comes out of the Mass.
And that's going to be at First Wayne Street United Methodist Church on April 22nd. You end the season with the choral ensemble playing with the Fort Wayne Philharmonic on May 12th, I believe.
Yep, May 12th. Yeah, Saturday, May 12th, the final concert of the Philharmonic at the Embassy. They invited us to join with the Philharmonic Chorus for Mozart's Requiem. So our students are really looking forward to that the opportunity to perform there with the professional symphony.
Now, we've got a few more minutes. Chad, going back to you, the university actually has two different bands, wind ensembles. Tell us the difference between the two.
Yeah, and this has only come up here in the last couple of years. We branched out into two concert ensembles. So the wind ensemble is primarily made up of music majors, although there are some non-music majors who audition into it. The Campus Symphonic Band is open to anyone who is an IPFW student, and we even have a few Ivy Tech students who come over and participate. And so for those people, there is no audition, and it's a very manageable time slot, 50 minutes 3 times a week. For those people who just want to continue to have that experience. And then we also have, this year we had 2 basketball bands, and between 3 and 4 volleyball bands. So
I love those bands.
A lot of opportunities for people to want to keep playing their instruments.
Yeah, a lot of energy in those bands. You know, when I go see the games. And on the choral front, Aaron, 3 different choral ensembles. Tell us about those.
Yeah, well, we have 2 that are primarily student ensembles for our music majors. We have University Singers, which is a larger mixed group that meets 3 times a week, and then we have a chamber group, Chamber Singers, that meets twice a week, and is a smaller, more sort of a cappella type music from the Renaissance to contemporary. And then we have a community choir that is also open to students, and that is Monday nights from 7:30 to 9:30, and that's open to anyone in the community who has an interest in singing.
And that's called, is that the Choral Union?
Yeah, Choral Union.
Right.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in singing in a choir, they can go to our website, IPFWchoirs.com, and check us out and tell us that they're interested and join us. Yeah, you guys both have so much going on. Lots of great music coming up this semester. I'm sure you're rehearsing all the time, and I'm going to be the beneficiary because I'm going to get a chance to listen to it. That's all the time we have on this show. Thank you both for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
For more information about the IPFW Department of Music and how to get tickets, visit ipfw.edu/music or call the Larson box office at 481-6555. Arts Weekly airs every week, Tuesday through Thursday on College Access Television and most Sundays on WFWA PBS 39. You can also catch us on YouTube and Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Chuck O'Connor. Thanks for tuning in to Arts Weekly. Join me next week with artists Jim Williams and Alan Eder from the Department of Visual Communication and Design at IPFW, and Melanie Bookout from the IPFW Department of Music.